So PicsGenie has a really big problem, and that big problem is a symptom of a bigger underlying problem. So I'm gonna have to give you a little bit of groundwork to show what's going on in the code, and then I'll explain the entire process as to how I fix it. So somebody went to PicsGenie.com and they wanted to design a poster, and they wanted that poster to be of a cow. PicsGenie creates that cow picture, no problem, right? And then let's say I want to buy that poster. Boom, I'm given a poster that I can buy, and it's held in my store in PicsGenie, and the name of this item that you can buy is a cow, and then there's this random number generated after it. Now let me explain why that's important. Say somebody else wanted to generate a picture of a cow. They design their poster using that same text input string, a cow, and they're given a completely unique poster because of the nature of the AI behind the scenes. Now let's say they also want to buy that poster. They end up on a purchase page just like the other one. It's a cow, and it's got this random number string after it, all right? So here's the other one, a cow 627355568, a cow 174735557, all right? Now, why exactly do these random numbers have to get generated? If you guessed that it's so that two people typing in the same thing don't land on the same product, then you're absolutely right. We want everybody who comes to the site to get a completely unique product. And by adding that random number at the end, because the random number is so long, the chances of two people getting the exact same text input and random number are astronomically small. So you can pretty much guarantee that whoever lands on your site, if they type in even the most simple sentence that 1,000 other people have used, they're gonna land on a completely unique purchase page, and it's going to be their image. Now, there's a little bit of a flaw with this system, and I'm gonna show you how that flaw manifests for the customer. Let's say you wanted to design a poster and the topic was 100 bananas working in an office at 50% efficiency because their boss is super angry at them and their team morale is at an all-time low. There's three things wrong with this input based on the system I currently have set up. First of all, the input is way too long. I'm cut off at the THEI. I can't even continue writing this because it only accepts a certain amount of character input. And the reason for that, I'll tell you in a second. The other two things that are wrong with this input are the special character, the percent sign, and the numbers. You're not allowed to input numbers right now. So you literally have to spell out any number that you want to type. Okay, so full disclosure, I'm actually figuring out why this is going on because I wrote this code like a year ago. So what I know is that the input must not contain special characters, numbers, or more than a certain amount of characters. And I'm pretty sure that the reason for that is because when I upload a product to a store, the name has certain requirements. Okay, so we know that it's not because of the store requirements that the name isn't allowed to include numbers, or that the input into the website isn't allowed to include numbers. We're not sure why we're not allowing special characters, and we're not sure why it's not more than X characters. So let's start poking my store to at least eliminate this potential possibility. All right, this is the new name of the product. It is every special character on the keyboard. I'm gonna try uploading a product with this as the name, and we'll see if it works. It appears that that didn't break it, so we can allow special characters, at least for the store. So I'm going to come back here and say, no, that does not break the store. It might break something else, and that is our generative AI, our image maker. I don't actually know what we're allowed to send to it. So remember that the name of the product is based on what the customer inputs into the store. So what they input goes to the generative AI, comes back with an image, and then it comes back and gets uploaded into the store. So we know the store allows these characters. We don't know if the generative AI does. So we're gonna test that in a bit too. But first we're gonna try and see how many characters we can actually input into a name. Here we have 100 letter A's. I'm gonna set that as a product name and generate it. And it looks like it worked. So that's pretty cool. And I tried it with 40,000. Let's see if that worked. Yep. The limit for the store is 40K. We're gonna stop the experiment right there because there's no need to go farther. We definitely know special characters can be entered into the store, so can numbers, and up to 40,000 characters. So this is what I have left to figure out. Can you enter stuff into the website? Can you enter stuff into the generative AI? And I've got a secret sauce that I don't really talk about because I might be trying to get a patent on this. And I'm gonna test all this on it too. So let's run a couple more tests. Okay, here I am on my live website backend stuff. I'm gonna be doing this on the old mug page because it's you can still access it. We don't actually sell mugs anymore. Pretty soon I'm gonna make it not indexed by Google and I'm gonna get rid of that page. But right now I can use it for testing. I've got all these special characters and numbers. We're going 2 for 1 right there. I'm gonna send that straight to the API and see what happens. All right, and it worked. So the AI, we know, can handle special characters and it can handle numbers. Now let's test the character limit it can take. Okay, it just dropped 40,000 A's in right there. Ooh, it really filtered that. It filtered it quickly too. Let's try 10,000. Oh wow, it doesn't allow that. Let's try 5,000. Nope, let's try 1,000. Sweet. 2,500. Nope. 1,500. Boom, all right, we're just gonna stick with 1,500. That seems like more than enough to prompt the AI with. So, right here, we go 1,500. This will all be written down in documentation later, of course. Now we need to test if we can input this stuff into PicsGenie.com. I'm pretty sure I can enter 1,500 in and special characters and numbers. I just have to allow it. So I'm gonna go and allow it real quick. If I go to edit field, you can see this right here is a pattern validation thing. And what I did is I went and I talked to ChatGPT about it. I said, hey, what does this do? I did this a year ago, I needed some context, and it told me it restricts you to uppercase and lowercase and white spaces. So if I delete that, I'll be allowing everything, right? All right, we're gonna test an input of numbers and special characters. Boom, it allows it in. That's awesome. And we already know that the generative AI in the background is gonna take that input and work with it, and it's gonna be okay. I switched it so that the input from here does go to the AI now. So we don't have to worry about the AI. We already know we're good. But we can now mark yes and yes. Let's test the character limit. All right, here is 1,500 characters going in, and I threw in some, what are these called? Quotation marks and a backslash just to, throw it for a curveball and see what happens. But look at that, it's working. And now let's see what happens if I buy that. That didn't work, and it looks like it did something weird to the name of the product. So I'm gonna go look at the code real quick and see what's going on. So the name of my product is the input prompt plus the tag at the end. For some reason that's not working. So I'm gonna try something with maybe 1,000 characters just to see if that's the cause. All right, so I can publish stuff to my store that has special characters and numbers, but what I can't do is get anything that's super, super long. So what I need to do, I think that's because there's a difference between the publishing to this store and publishing to the store that's embedded in my website. So it's like taking that store and embedding it in PicsGenie.com. That's a slightly different ballgame. So what I need to do now is just create a generator that gives every product a unique name, probably just numbers, and then just do that, and then allow all the inputs I want, but give every product a unique name. So I'm gonna test that out. Okay, I implemented that. And basically when you create a product, instead of telling you the name of what you typed in, because that could be super, super long, right? And the store isn't necessarily able to handle that. It just calls it custom product number, and then it generates a random number so that all of those things can be routed to the customer that designed them with an extremely low probability of collision, and it works. So let's check it out. Now, when I make a poster, I can enter 2 cows in a pasture eating the farmer's grass. Notice we've got a number, we've got a special character, and this is a pretty long input. And if I invent that, boom, we get a result. And then that's a really long name, so let's see what the product is called. There we go, the customer gets rerouted to custom product number, that number, instead of the incredibly long name that they had to type in to generate that poster. This is a much more sustainable way to keep collisions between generations incredibly unlikely to happen, and also just make it look a little bit better. And it also prevents the site from breaking. So that's the solution. I'm sure it can get improved in the future, but right now, this is a huge upgrade because it allows you to type in anything that you want and it doesn't break the site. So there we go, it's live, it works. So now all I gotta do is move this to do to done, because my team's organized like that.